So welcome to something a little different here on the Entering into Space channel. I'm going to do a series of short videos on processing and taking you from like raw subs all the way to a final image using several programs, one being the one I'm in now, which is Pixinsight. I'm going to use Deep Sky Stacker for actually stacking, and on the end use Photoshop 2020 to do some final touches to this image. And the data we're going to be working on today is the Heart Nebula. So we can go over here, bring in my folder here. Let's find it. And the telescope that I shot with is the Quattro 8-inch reflector astrograph. So 800 millimeters. Not going to get all the heart in, but going to get Merlot 15 and the core of the heart. So some pretty good data. So I want to show you kind of how I have my file management set up. This is kind of the basic folders that I have here. I've got the raw subs. So this is where I have my HA data, my O3 data, and my S2 data. Now, these are raw subs shot. Nothing's been done to them. They're just collected. I haven't even gone through them. So this first video is basically going to be subframe selector, and choosing, going through and filtering the subs to choose the best ones to actually stack, and then stacking in Deep Sky Stacker to produce a stacked image, an HA image, an O3 image, and an S2 image. My other folders, I have a processing folder here. And what I like to do is date it. So I'm going to date this new folder here, 12/6/20. So this is where my information, my stacked images are going to end up be saved to. This is going to be a good subfolder. So let's go ahead and make an HA folder. Right click. Make an O3 folder and make an S2 folder. And what else do we have here? And then my calibration frame. So if we click in here, I've got bias, darks, flats. Clicking into the flats, my HA flats, O3 flats, and S2 flats. And for the most part, I'm shooting mono, so I have a series of images here shot through different filters to create an image. If you're shooting one shot color, you could still kind of follow along. There's still a lot of the same processes as far as picking the best subs and processing your image. I might deviate just a little bit when I'm combining this into the Hubble palette, but that's what I'm into now, so follow along. So right now we're going to minimize this folder. And the tool here in Pixinsight that we're going to use to review our subs, we can find in the Process tab and scroll down to Image Inspection, and we're going to choose Blink. So when you open the Blink tool, it's going to look blank. Blink is blank. And the way you get files into the Blink tool here is you're going to click this little folder. And what it did is it took me to where I had already selected them. But if it doesn't, just navigate your way to the folder. So this is my raw subs. I'm gonna open up my HA, select the top one, hit Control and A, and that selects them all, and click open. So the Explore tab here is going to show you all the files being brought into Pixinsight. And here is the first raw sub. So you can see this is basically zoomed in at the heart. There's Merlot 15. So shooting through the night, if you got clouds, if you got high clouds, if you scroll through these, you're going to notice a lot of this value changing. And so what I like to do right off the bat to make sure all the images has the same stretch, I want to come up here to this little tab here. It says Apply Automatic Histogram Transformation to All Images. So we're going to select one of the images, hit Control A, and that selects them all. And then this little icon here, let's just click it. And what Pixinsight's going to do is going to run through here and apply the same stretch to every image. And don't worry, you're going to definitely be able to see if you had any high haze or clouds. And that's the two things we're looking for to filter out these images. Is we're looking for any clouds that just completely blur out the image. And then we're going to go run back through and really look at our star shapes. Okay, so everything's been stretched. So we click the first sub, and I just, you can like do an automation. So it's set to 0.2 seconds. I can hit play and see it just runs through them, which is pretty cool, especially if you want to look and see if you captured an asteroid, and you can see a little shift there in the image. But what I like to do, honestly, is just run to the top, select the first one, and just scroll through with my mouse wheel, pulling down on it. And even those little satellite trails, those will be averaged out, so I'm not going to worry about them. So we're just going through, we're looking for any images that may be completely just whited out from clouds. But looks like for the purposes of this video, we're not going to have any. So now I want to zoom in and scroll down through them and really look for any kind of funky star shapes. See how that one kind of bloats? The stars kind of bloat out. So if you find one you don't like, what I do is I just click this little button here and get rid of it. And just keep going through. And you're just culling them out. You want to keep the good ones, get rid of the bad ones. So it looks like we had, that one's questionable. It looks like we got a good run on this one. A little dither shift there. So we only got rid of one of them. Cool. So that being said, once you've satisfied that and you've got a group of images here that you've checked stars and you've checked the background and you like them all, once again we want to select them all. So click on the top one, Control A, selects them all, and then this little icon down here is going to save them. So we'll click that, and we want to go find that folder that we named Good Subs. So let's go Heart Nebula. Got a lot going on here. Look at all this. So see where it says Good Subs? Click into that. HA, select folder, and there it goes. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to bore you with going through the O3 and S2 data, but that's basically going to be the same process. So join me back here for the next step for stacking. Okay, so I have gone through my O3 and now my S2 data. This is an S2 single sub here, and didn't shoot a lot on this project, but it's a kind of good one to start out with and show you guys, because should be able to run through this stuff pretty quick. So that being said, I've saved them, so I'm going to close the blink tool, and I'm actually going to minimize Pixinsight. Whoa, look at that Heart Nebula. I'm coming down here and I'm going to open up Deep Sky Stacker. And if you're a hardcore Pixinsight person, you're probably cringing right now going, well, stacking Pixinsight. Well, guess what? I've done that, and it takes forever. So I don't even want to get into that. I am going to, for the sake of this video, I'm going to take this Deep Sky Stacker panel, run it all the way over here, bam. And I'm going to bring up my folders here. And here is my good subs. So my HA, O3, and S2. And Deep Sky Stacker has groups down here. I've messed with these groups. Not really a fan of them. And the thing that Pixinsight has is a star alignment process. So I'm not even going to take the time to try to find a reference frame. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stack HA, O3, S2, all individual here in Deep Sky Stacker. And then leverage the star alignment tool in Pixinsight to align the S2 and O3 data to the HA final image. So let's stack our HA first. And the cool thing about Deep Sky Stacker is you can get data into this thing one of two ways. I can either say, dark files, open picture files, and it's gonna go to the folder, but I can also drag and drop. So this is all my good subs, my good HA subs here, right? So I can just take this folder, drag it over into this gray screen here, drop it, and we're going to call that light frames, 41 of them at 6 minutes long. So let's go up here, let's go into our calibration frames, let's go to our flats. Let's see, HA flats, there's all the flats that I shot for that. So drag that same folder over, falls in, comes default to set light frames. We're just going to click flat frames, click OK. And darks, there's shot a few, probably could have shot more. 360 seconds at -15, so let's move that over. Dark frames, select them as darks. And you see they're populating in here. And bias, let's drag that over. Click bias. So the cool thing is when we're going to run through this, and then when we run through it again, all we're going to have to do is just remove our light frames and our flat frames, but our darks and bias will apply to all 3 data sets. So we've got 41 light frames, 20 dark frames, 20 flat frames, and 60 bias frames. Wow. So next step is to register the check pictures. So let's click that. And what we want to do is we want to do a star detection. We want to see how many stars this thing is picking up. So you click the advanced tab, comes default to set to 11%. So let's click that and let's see, 170 stars. Let's move that down and click it again. And that should get us up to about 200 stars. So that's good. These are my basic recommended settings that I have. Everything in green is I'm using Sigma clipping. Everything else here is pretty much checked as green. And that should be pretty default when you're in this program. The stacking parameters, what I'm doing is enabling 2x drizzle. That's going to use an algorithm to actually enhance the pixels in your image. It actually makes it a lot bigger, but you get better definition, better resolution. That's only if you dithered. If you're shooting a one-shot color and you're following along right now, good luck, because that's a file that I never could even process. It was so huge, but these mono files, it works pretty well. So I have 2x drizzle checked. The rest of the stuff, ladies and gentlemen, don't even bother. Over here in the light, I have Kappa Sigma clipping checked. I think that's default. That's the parameters that's going to, remove any artifacts out of your image, like the sat trail, stuff like that. The rest of the stuff, and don't mess with this cosmetic correction. I tried it, ruined a whole bunch of images. I don't mess with any of this stuff. It's set to standard, 2x drizzle, you're good to go. Click OK. When we click OK to this, it's going to tell us that we're stacking 4 hours and 6 minutes. And we're going to let that run, and we'll be right back. So just click the OK button, and it's off. Alright, so we are stacking image 41 of 41. We're going into a computing final picture algorithm, processors, I don't know. Lots of blinky stuff going on here. Just about ready to produce an image. Actually, let's do this. Let's expand that. Ha! What do you think about that? So it's computing the final picture. And one more green bar to go. And it created an autosave file in the HA good subfolder. But what I like to do, and yeah, it's good that you're seeing this, because don't worry. You're going to look at this and you're going to go, what in the heck? All the data's in there. We have to stretch it. Don't panic. But what I want to do is I want to come over here. Next step is going to be to save picture to file. So look at that, California Nebula I was working on earlier. Let's do a drop down list in this tab up here. We're going to go to astrophotography, find our folder, Quattro, Heart Nebula, processing, and I've labeled this 12.6.20, and we can name this HA, and we're going to save it as a 32-bit TIFF. And I also have embed adjustments in the saved image, but do not apply them. So that's checked. No compression, 32-bit integer TIFF. I could save it as a FITS file if I wanted to, but I'm going to save it as a TIFF and click save. So if we open up, our processing folder, there it is, HA, ready to go into Pixinsight. Okay, so now we need to do our next batch here, which is going to be 03. So we can move that over. And where are we at? Right here. Good subs. So what we're going to do here is you come back up here to register, check pictures, click that, and it thinks you're going to do it again, but you just hit cancel. So these are our lights. So we're going to click the first light here, scroll all the way down until we stop seeing the light, but actually we got our flats too. We can keep scrolling. And right here, we want to hold the control button. Oops. Let's try that again. Click the first one, scroll down here, go to the last flat because we want to get rid of these, and we're going to hold the shift, not the control. Shift, and select them all, right click on them, and remove from list. Okay, so remember our bias are in here and our darks are left in here. That's good because we can use them for the other two. So once again, these are our good subs, 03, so we're going to drag them over, drop them in, call them a light frame, click OK. And now all we got to do is go up in here to our calibration flats, our oxygen 3 flats, label those as flats, click OK. Once you hit register check pictures, you know, the star detection is pretty much always going to be set from the get-go from the HA. So all you got to do is click OK to that, right at 3 hours of 03, and click OK again, and it's going to do its thing. It's adding the flat frames and the bias frames to the image and subtracting and getting them ready to register, which means they're going to star align and then stack them at the end. So we'll run through this process, we'll save it. So once the 03 is done, then we'll move on to the S2 process. All right, we are computing our 03. And there's our 03 image. So save picture to file. And now once we've done that one time, it'll take us right back into that same processing folder where we save the HA. So we just name this 03. One more I. Click save. All right. Register check pictures, cancel. Same thing here. Let's scroll up, click the first one, light. Didn't get lucky this time, so shift key, last one, right click, remove from list. Let's go find those flats and get those out of there. There they are. First flat, shift key, last flat, right click, remove from list. Darks and bias are still in there. So we can go ahead and grab our S2 while we're in this folder, S2 flats, move them over, label them as flats, click OK. Let's go grab those S2 good subs, move those over, light frames, click OK, register check pictures, OK to that, right at 3 hours of S2 data, click OK to that. Alright, so here is our last image, our S2 stack. So let's go in here, save picture. There's our HA and 03. So let's label this S2. and click Save. Okay, let's minimize Deep Sky Stacker. Let's get our folder out of the way. We're going to bring up Pixinsight here. So let's go here to File, Open, go to that folder, and our processing folder. So here's our 3 files, HA, O3, S2. And remember, they are not aligned. And I'll show you. Let's open them up. So this little button up here, little nuclear symbol here, the one without the arrow, it's going to pretty much mimic what this auto stretch does down here. So there is our S2 data. Looks pretty good. Or we can just hit it down here for our screen transfer function. I'll go into all these tools here on the next video. So our O3 data looks pretty good. Not bad for 3 hours. And our HA. Ooh, look at that. So one way you can check the alignment of these images is this little double square button here. It's just sizes similar. And when you take an image here, see how it becomes transparent, and you move it over, you see they're not. When they snap like that, they should be all in line. They're not in line at all. And neither is the double square. And obviously nothing's lined up. So stay tuned for the next video where we do star alignment, and I show you the next step, which would be a dynamic crop to get these 3 images ready to merge into the SHO Hubble Palette to process. All right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned.